Most of what we seem to be known for at whyquit.com is our stand on cold turkey being the preferable way to quit smoking. It's the way that most people in the world who have quit smoking have done it. It is the way that if you go into your own real world and find out how all the people you know quit smoking, you'll find the vast majority of them did it by going cold turkey. And yet, it seems like we're kind of out there alone at times, that everyone is telling you. I mean, all medical professionals seem to, all scientists seem to, of course, all pharmaceutical companies, but major health organizations too are trying to tell you that it's not the way to quit smoking. There are starting to be more influx now of other experts in the field coming out and acknowledging that cold turkey is a legitimate way to encourage people to quit smoking, and some are even coming out now and saying it is the preferable way. Although they're tempering the message somewhat, saying, but NRTs are still out there and still useful for some people. It's good to see that people are starting to come around. Is it the majority of again the experts in the field? No, it's not. It's not going to be, I suspect, for quite a while. But it's still out there where we're starting to see some recognition, which is amazing to me because I've been waiting for this to happen in a way for 30 years. When I first saw NRT come out onto the market and the way they were being promoted, I was thinking, like, there's just no way that this can last. I mean, people have got to catch on. This is before there was any research in it. This is before there was any way for it to be measured, except it was on a logic basis. I was, determining this. It was on the fact we were dealing with a drug addiction. They were delivering the same sort of drug. You're not going to get people off a drug by weaning them off the same drug. That's not how drug addictions are treated. Drug addictions have been around for a really long time, and drug addictions have been treated for a really long time. And most drugs that are being treated, they're either pulling off people cold turkey, or there are times, again, with other drugs where they had used other drugs to help wean them off the first drug. Now, in some cases, it was almost mandatory because some kinds of drug withdrawals are dangerous to come off of cold turkey without getting other medications. Dangerous to the level of people go into respiratory arrest. They can die on certain kinds of drugs if they're not managed. I mean, alcohol is one of these drugs that some people can go into DTs, and if those people are not treated, those DTs can lead to death. So yes, there are other drugs that are given to these people during that withdrawal process. But they're not giving them alcohol during this withdrawal process. That's not the drug they're using to wean them. Nicotine was kind of unique. They were using nicotine to wean off nicotine. And again, this just isn't done in drug abuse programs and in treating drug addictions. But cigarettes were out there on their own. And again, we had industries coming in who were profiting wildly by people using substances to get off. Well, again, we're starting to see research coming out showing that this stuff isn't working. And the way the research is coming out now, it's basically just saying it's no more effective. The research that is starting to show, it's saying that it's no more effective than not using it. And it's interesting because they keep on trying to say that the way you compare NRT or these pharmaceuticals is against people not using pharmaceuticals. But I want to point out something here. And sometimes they will go in, they'll make the kind of claim, well, it's against going cold turkey. But what we need to start to watch now is how people define cold turkey. Because it's amazing. Some people who are doing these kind of commentaries saying, oh, if you compare nicotine replacement to cold turkey, they're considering cold turkey to be anything that doesn't use nicotine replacement or drugs. Meaning cold turkey could mean cutting down on tobacco. Cold turkey could mean going to other kind of, a quackery almost type of devices, or, just everything out there under the sun. If it's not using a drug to get off, that's called cold turkey. Then there's others, and these are the ones I really enjoy a lot. There are some people who are saying people will go to like a program like not a program, but a website like whyquit.com, or go to any other website that somehow is telling them to just stop using altogether, those people are not cold turkey quitters. Those are people who went to something. If they read a book that said they should be going cold turkey and they followed the guidelines of the book, there are people who are considering this, defining this as not being cold turkey quitters. Oh no, those are people who quit by using a book. That's not cold turkey, that's a book. And again, I'm thinking that people who came to my stop smoking clinics when I was doing them, they're not cold turkey quitters. Those are clinic quitters, not cold turkey. Uh, I think the vast majority of people who ever ran through a program, or the vast majority of people who came to our website and quit smoking by our website, will be quite surprised to find out they're not cold turkey quitters. Oh, they quit cold turkey, but they're not cold turkey quitters. They're program quitters. They're website quitters. They're not cold turkey quitters. The definitions that they do, and again, the understanding of why they do this, because they're trying to now still minimize, even the people who are coming out saying that the medications aren't working, they're still trying to minimize the differentiation between a cold turkey quitter, and someone using pharmaceuticals. And if they were to really go to a strict definition of cold turkey, meaning they just went cold turkey. They may have done other things at the same time, meaning they may have read materials. They may have gone to a website. They did research. They did something. They got help maybe on a hotline that endorsed cold turkey. I don't think they exist, but if they did, those people are still cold turkey quitters. It's like there's a definition kind of floating out there of unassisted. And that's what everyone needs to be compared against when using a drug. It's unassisted or using a medication. And again, that definition doesn't truly capture the differentiation, because unassisted means also people who just try gradual withdrawal on cigarettes. And we know how gradual withdrawal on cigarettes work. It doesn't in the vast majority of cases. And there's a whole lot of people who do that more so than probably go cold turkey, because again, it logically sounds easier and it's less frightening to them. So sure, they're gonna do that approach, and you add that into the equation, and now you do a measurement against all of those quitters, cold turkey and gradual withdrawal, and you match them together, put them together in a pool, and compare them against nicotine replacement. Well, nicotine replacement isn't doing any better. But in a way, it's also saying, the way these statements are being written is, well, they're not doing any worse. But again, if you now really do a differentiation, a clear delineation of pharmaceutical products that are out there and cold turkey. And again, I'm not saying cold turkey meaning just that they came to a program like ours or read materials like ours. I'm just saying people who, yes, maybe have come to programs like ours or got information like ours or read books that are espousing the same sort of concepts that we're saying, but also people who just did nothing and just went cold turkey without any information. If you just look at people who went cold, no matter what the background information they had doing it, but the program that they implemented for themselves, or again, they got advice from others on how to do it. If they're I'm not sure. I'm not sure if these people who are making these comments of unassisted quitting, if a doctor tells their patient, you have to go cold turkey, and they do, I actually don't think that they would consider those people cold turkey quitters. I think those would be people who were doctor influence quitters. I don't know what term they would come up with, but still, for all practical purposes, anyone really working with a true logical definition of what these people did, they went cold turkey. Yes, they were advised to do it, but they did it. And if the research did, not you, but if the research just looked at people who went cold turkey and compared it to people who used all the different aids out there, you would not see them just coming out with comments and statements saying that there's no big difference between cold turkey or in pharmaceutical devices. It's not going to come out and just say that really they're the same. There's no big advantage of NRT. What it would come out showing is the people who went cold turkey far outperformed the people using these products. And if they really started to understand the implication, they would start to understand these products are undercutting people who, if they had went cold turkey, would have basically done a whole lot better. I can't prove this by their research because their research isn't designed to look for it yet. So I can't prove it by that. But again, you can prove it. And again, the way you prove it is the way I keep on saying in every video that I've ever produced or any program I ever did to get people to understand how it is possible to go cold turkey and how the majority of people who have quit have done it is go talk to people in your circle, in your real world, and find out the ones who've been off smoking for at least a year or longer. And again, I'll qualify on how to do the definition. Definitions are important here. I mean, this is the point I'm trying to make with this thing. You can redefine terms, so you can make things look a lot different than they are. But my definition of a successful quitter, go find people you know who are off all nicotine for at least a year or longer. I'm not saying how they quit. I'm just saying go interview everyone you know who has not touched nicotine in any form. No nicotine replacement products, no cigars, no pipes, no cigarettes, just no nicotine in any form whatsoever. They're totally off nicotine for a year or longer now. And go find out how those people initially quit. My initial question wasn't how they quit here. My initial criteria is they haven't touched nicotine in a year. Go find out now how they initially quit. And you will find that the vast majority of them, they went cold turkey. Again, the three scenarios that I will, repeat over and over again of what prompted the quit, how it started. Again, they either woke up one day sick and tired of smoking and never touched one again. They left their doctor's office. They were ultimatum, quit smoking, drop dead, your choice. They never touched one again. They got sick. They got a cold or a flu. They felt miserable. They couldn't smoke. They couldn't eat. They felt crummy. They didn't smoke because it hurt. And then 3 or 4 days into the illness, they started to get better. They started to recover. They realized, wow, I got 3 or 4 days under my belt without smoking. Let's see if I can keep it going. And they never touch one again. Go find the people you know who've quit. They're going to fall into one of those 3 categories. And those 3 categories all share the same technique. The technique was they tossed their cigarettes for one reason or another. Again, it was a doctor influence. It was an illness influence. They just, whatever it was. There was an influence that started the process, and that process, they sustained it and continued it. And they never smoked again after that. If you go talk to people you know, you'll see it's what they did. And again, I don't think anyone who does this is now starting to define the difference, thinking like, oh, the ones who went to a doctor were told cold turkey. Those aren't like the people who got sick and went cold turkey, or the people who woke up sick and tired and went cold turkey. Those are all the same people. Again, what inspired them to maybe start the process, that varied. But the process was cold turkey. And that's the point of this. Cold turkey, if you really are measuring how to stop, is a way that's going to work for the vast majority of people. And we just want to make it clear that it is possible to quit. It is more than possible. It is the most likely way you're going to pull off a successful quit. Most of these other products out there that are trying to tell you, and not just the products, not just the organizations selling the products, but the professional health organizations who are still out there trying to tell you, whatever you do, don't cold turkey. They're working on old information, basically. They are working on studies designed by manufacturers who are trying to sell their products, and they have basically bamboozled the public health community. How they've done it for so long, I don't know. It's starting to catch on a little bit, but I still think it's going to be a long time before everyone falls in line. And you know what? It may never happen that the public health community will fall in line, or the tobacco control community when it comes down to it. I mean, they're still a strong component of those people. I don't think they're ever going to see the light here. And if you're waiting to follow their advice to get the way that's going to work best for you, I think you're going to end up smoking many extra years and many extra decades. And worse, I suspect a whole lot of people are going to end up dying waiting for them to give them the right advice. And because they're not going to follow the advice till they hear from tobacco control. Don't wait. Don't waste your time. If you're ready to quit, you want out. The way to do it now is to simply stop cold turkey, make then that commitment, and stick to that commitment to never take another puff